Sumer was located between the Tigris and Euphrates rivers in modern-day Iraq, and existed between 4500 BC and 1900 BC. Sumer had a written language known as cuneiform, a rule of law known as the Code of Hammurabi, and sophisticated artists. One of the more complicated art pieces was the cylinder seal, a 2 to 3 centimeter tall piece of hard stone with an inscription on it. When the cylinder was pressed into clay, it would create an image or scene unique to that specific seal. Many Sumerians would wear their specific cylinder around their neck as jewelry. Along with being used for art and jewelry, these cylinders were used as administrative tools on documents such as business transactions or land sales. The unique image of the seal served as proof of agreement from a certain party. By the time of the Romans, this idea of using an impression for identification had evolved into rings and engraved gems, which would be pushed into hot wax for documentation rather than clay. Marcus Aemilius Scaurus, son-in-law of Roman dictator Lucius Cornelius Sulla, took interest in these rings and gems. Roman author Pliny the Elder said Scaurus was the first major collector of engraved gems. Pliny the Elder himself was a collector as well, of letters and manuscripts. He would often comment on how letters of Cicero, Augustus Caesar, and Virgil were not uncommon, but letters from Julius Caesar were rare prized possessions with higher values. On August 24th of the year 79, Pliny was looking at his books when his attention was drawn to a dark cloud hovering across the bay over the city of Pompeii. Pliny took a boat over to investigate the cloud, which ended up being the eruption of Mount Vesuvius. His body was found 2 days later. In the words of Pliny's nephew, Pliny the Younger, he was looking more like sleep than death. The popularity of art collection during the Renaissance period led to artists wanting to make sure that they were recognized for their work, as well as collectors wanting to show off the artist whose paintings they've purchased. The most common way to achieve this was the signature. The popularity of collecting based off signatures also lended itself to the Alba Amicorum, which translates to Album of Friends. The Alba Amicorum was a book used to show off one's network. It was a collection of signatures from their friends and family. As the value of signatures increased, a natural market formed. In the 1830s, one of London's best-known booksellers, Thomas Thorpe, converted his inventory to a catalog that mostly held signed items, including books and manuscripts. In 1887, Walter R. Benjamin opened a store on Broadway in Manhattan, explicitly for selling autographs. Benjamin said his clientele was mostly people with a passion for history and literature. In 1907, the United States Customs Service disposed of 140 tons of documents. Benjamin found a way to go through these documents and collected several pieces signed by old presidents. Those items helped boost the success of his business and led to many more autograph firms throughout New York City, as well as the northeastern United States. The autograph business continued to expand, while celebrities began to hone in on the value of their signatures by charging fees for their services, but also giving them away for free to fans. The fans also took notice of their value.
How I'd like to look into that little book, the one that has the lock and key. Say I'm the boy that you care for, the boy who's in your diary.
Then selling for $8,700,000.
In 2012, George Washington's signed copy of the Bill of Rights sold for $9.8 million, standing today as the most expensive signature of all time. In place of an autograph, comedian Steve Martin would hand out business cards, which read, "This certifies that you have had a personal encounter with me, and that you found me warm, polite, intelligent, and funny." But to many fans, autographs are not for proof of a personal encounter. They are collector's items that have a rich history of cultural and monetary importance. In 2023, an autograph is an inferior form of a personal encounter.